choose with the apartment. So why don't you just like tell me like when you first came, what was your experience?
Well, I would say not having electricity is a normal feeling. So it's not something new.
Yeah.
Like you when the lights went off for us, we were like, ah, nah, I'm used to this. Let's just get out the candle and just carry on with it, you know.
Mm.
Uh, we're used to not having
We
any
know how
lights
it
or
goes.
water.
Yeah.
But when we first came here, we came around the COVID-19 had just emerged around, I would say, northeast of China, and the whole region of Jiangxi province was actually locked down and going through a COVID period. When we arrived here, COVID-19 had just started emerging,
Mm-hmm.
and we, being foreigners and new, we didn't know about the city. We didn't have enough friends here to tell us about the city. And so when you and I came here, we came here just before Chinese New Year, and during Chinese New Year, everything was as normal. But
Mm-hmm.
after Chinese New Year, we were wondering, where did all the people go? Why is everything closed up?
Mm-hmm.
Why is everything so quiet? What is going on here? Where's everybody? And we were walking around. We went to the shopping mall. We went to the restaurants. Certain restaurants were open, but mostly the Western restaurants that we could eat in, like
Mm-hmm.
KFC and Burger King, which, by the way, is extremely expensive.
We found that out.
Compared to normal Chinese food, which
Mm-hmm.
if you go to a Chinese restaurant, you could get a meal, a filling meal for about say 20 kwai, 20 yuan, even 10 yuan. You could get a meal
Even for 10 yuan, yeah.
between 10 to 30 yuan, you could get a meal. But if you go to KFC or Burger King, you're gonna spend a minimum of 40 yuan on a meal
Yes, exactly.
already.
Yeah.
So we didn't know anything about that, but we were going everywhere. And I remember you and I went to it was Jinli ancient town. We went to
Mm-hmm.
Jinli ancient street. So we went to a tourist area during the COVID pandemic period.
Mm-hmm.
And people were there. Lots of people were there. It's a weird contrast because we still, even though lots of people were staying at home,
Yeah.
you and I were still allowed to go out and, even in the midst of a pandemic, explore China
Yeah.
and get to see how cool the city can be. But we hadn't seen the best China had to offer because we were still in a COVID period.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just that was amazing what we did because
Yes.
as I said, we were just so naive at that point that we didn't realize what was going on. But I just wanted to backtrack to actually when we got here, what really happened. So I'll just put into context a little bit.
Okay.
So the company that we came with put us in a hotel for 7 days, and that hotel was amazing.
Very
It
nice.
was like somewhere in the south, I guess, near the Global Center. We both had our separate rooms, and then we'll meet up
Okay.
every day for breakfast, and then we'll go out, and then we had some things to do for work, like trainings and stuff like that, or go and sort out our cell phone, get a SIM card because you have to register it with your passport. And so it's a lot of processes that we had to go through to do many things. So in that 7 days we had things to do. We tried to get a taxi. I remember that we saw so many taxis outside our window because our hotel was, it was kind of a busy area. Yeah, so we tried to get taxis, but you see most of the taxis use you pay through the cell phone
Yes.
because your bank card is linked to WeChat and all these things, or Alipay, but we don't have any of that. So we were just paying cash. And I remember the taxi driver just used to look at her like, no, he used to look at his phone and, point at his phone, and we were just like, no, we give him the money, and then we used to just go away. I remember one time we don't even have change for him. You had to go outside, ask someone for change, and it was just a nightmare. But then finally by the end of the 7 days, we had to get an apartment. But we came at such a unfortunate time, to be honest, because 7 days on from when we came, it was Spring Festival, and because of Spring Festival, everything was closing. So it means all the people, even from the city, were going on holiday to their hometowns or taking vacations or whatever. So our company gave us an option, like, you only got 2 places to choose from to stay in, to live in as your apartment. And I remember the day that we went,
We didn't see the second place, did
we didn't even see the second one. We just saw the first one. And they said, oh, we only got one for you to see today, and you have to choose this one because tomorrow is Spring Festival and nobody's in the city. I'm like, how can nobody be in the city? She's like, yeah, but everything is just closed because it's a holiday period. It's a Chinese New Year, so everything will be closed. And we just didn't believe some of that. And anyway, we saw this apartment. It was some parts I liked, some parts I didn't like at all. Yes. You know which ones. And then we ended up just getting that because that's actually the only option that we had. We didn't know any better. We didn't know that we could go to an agency. We didn't know that we could ask other people. We didn't know anything. Like now we can easily get an apartment where we want to. We can use the apps. We got the agents. Yes. We got private agents. We got everything going on. So we know information now. But that time we knew diddly squat. So we just chose that apartment that we were shown, and we took that on. And I will let you explain when we got inside there what we did and what happened from there on.
So much. Like in terms of apartments, there is so many places you can pick. And yes, the thing is, our company was in a hurry to get us a place. And luckily we did choose that place because it would have been very difficult for us otherwise, because there were no places left to stay, because the pandemic would have just started afterwards. But I will say now, knowing what we know, for the apartment we've got, there were so many for the apartment we had and the price we paid, we could have gotten something just as big for half the price.
Yes, absolutely.
I would say now, depending on the region that we lived in.
Far better facilities as well.
Far better facilities. And there's so many apps. Most people here do not speak English, so you're going to have to get around that. But once you get around that, there are so many apps, so many agents that you can speak to that can find you a house that you probably would like. If we shared an apartment, so we could afford pretty much a very, very nice apartment, if we wanted to. So coming back to your question or the story we're continuing, we got to the apartment and we were like, because this apartment was actually, I would say there were areas that like you said, we didn't like about it. Unlike in the West, where when you are advertising your place, you would put your best foot forward. You would clean the place up. You would make sure, I want my people to come and see that this place is clean. This place is awesome. Anybody that comes here must see. We came there and that place was dirty.
Not in good condition. Yeah.
It was not in good condition. There were things there. There was a teddy bear with one eye.
I remember.
And there were so many things, and so we came in, and we didn't have anything, because we just arrived. We just had our suitcase.
We didn't even get paid yet.
Yes, so we bought cleaning equipment. We cleaned the entire apartment, and then in the afternoon we had to go for training at work. We went for training, and we went back to our hotel. Afterwards, we started moving into the place. After we had cleaned the place, we started moving into the place. And then it was the middle of winter. So the thing about Chengdu is the winters range between, I would say, a maximum of maybe 10 degrees and a minimum of maybe -1. So it can get very cold. And for somebody that is, especially for me that comes from South Africa, we don't have winter in South Africa. Especially in Durban, 20 degrees, 18 degrees, 16 degrees is not winter. So we came there and we were like, it's so cold, it's really cold. Maybe watching something on the TV or watching something on YouTube, I'm not sure. And lights go off. We're like, what happened here? Lights went off.
I remember it a little bit differently, to be honest with you. I remember you and I were cleaning and we had the air conditioning on. It was the morning. I think we stayed the night there, and then we said in the morning we're gonna. I can't remember too clearly, but I remember we were cleaning something.
Yes, we were cleaning. It
And
was very
then,
cold.
and yeah, it was cold. And then all of a sudden, the heater went
Yes.
off, the air conditioning. And you see, in where we stayed, they had the air conditioning, not like the external unit that's on your wall, This one was like the ducking, like central heating. So this was really expensive. People used to spend maybe 4,000 yuan a month just to have electricity and use the heater for the month. That's how expensive it was in the complex that we were living in. Other complexes that have in the apartments that have the outside
air
unit that's
conditioning
on the
units.
wall, the air conditioning units that's on the wall, that's much cheaper. That's actually
Yes.
far cheaper,
Yes.
right? You're not paying anywhere near 4,000. Like I pay like 1,000. I pay like maybe 100 for like a month and a half.
Yes, if
and
it's
100
not
yuan.
if it's not winter,
If it's not
you're-
winter, if it's not winter,
if it's not winter, 100 yuan can last you maybe 2 or 3 months sometimes.
depending
Yes.
how many people in the house, I would say.
Yes.
But in summer, like as I said, with this air conditioning on the outside, on your wall, that can cost you it cost me maybe 900 yuan a month, I guess. Still not so bad. Coming to my point is that we were like cleaning, and then the electricity just went off. And do you remember what happened after that?
You and I were trying to figure out what had happened. We were trying to figure out what had happened, and asking the property management, what is going on? Why don't we have electricity? We moved into a place that doesn't have electricity, and so we tried to message our agent that got us the house, and because we didn't have the landlord's details at the time, the agent's not responding or like not talking back to us. We couldn't get the you see, in order to have electricity, you needed to have an electricity number. So what happened is that the agent didn't pay the electricity fee for us, nor did he tell us that we needed to pay an electricity fee, and this is what you need to have. So to give the viewers a context of in an ideal situation when you get your first apartment or any apartment. So it's 2022, last year. I got my new apartment last year. When I went into this apartment and found this apartment, my agent, the first thing she did is show me that everything worked. Like she opened the taps, the electricity, the air conditioning units, and showed me everything worked. And I was like, okay. And then she showed me what didn't work. And I was like, okay, that's great. And then there were certain things that weren't working, like the bathroom door, but my landlord came in and repaired it for me later on. So the agent left the house, and once I signed the papers, she gave me some cards. She said, this is your electricity card. This is your electricity number. If you want to pay electricity, you can go downstairs to the convenience store, ask them to put money onto your electricity card, and you can recharge your electricity that way, or you can pay via Alipay. She also said, okay, this is your gas account. I'm going to go on Alipay and bind it for you myself. So my agent had already showed me exactly what to do with the electricity, exactly what to do with the gas.
And when you mean bind, you mean like they take the account number of the gas for your apartment and they bind it with that Alipay account.
Yes.
So you can just pay from your Alipay straight into this.
Yes.
Because it's on your transaction list there.
Exactly. So in this case, if you are out of electricity or out of gas, you can go onto your Alipay and pay immediately.
And it should come on within like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever.
Yes. It comes on almost immediately.
Yeah.
So that's what an agent should do. However, the guy that we were with, he comes, we sign the contract, and we, being totally green, total newbies in China, know nothing about it, anything. He doesn't give us the electricity card. He doesn't give us the electricity number. He doesn't give us the gas number. He doesn't tell us where we need to pay our rates. None of that.
We knew nothing.
None of that. And so, and I remember for you as well, when you got your second apartment, the agent actually told you exactly where to go. She gave you everything, but this guy didn't give us nothing. And so the property management had told us that we don't have electricity, and unless we have an electricity number or an electricity card, we are not going to be able to pay anything. And
I mean, the number is important. If we had the number, they could have done something.
If you have the number, you could go onto WeChat. You could go onto WeChat or Alipay, and you could pay by WeChat Alipay.
Yeah.
The only problem is that we didn't have a Chinese bank account to link our WeChat or Alipay to as yet.
Yeah.
So we only had cash. So we were in a bit of a situation there as well.
Yeah.
So what our community did in order for us to survive, they said, okay, we're going to activate 10 yuan backup power for you, and
that's like
hopefully
nothing
you guys can just make it. And so I think our community, when they activated that 10 yuan backup power, they were basically saying, okay, for 2 or 3 days you can use this maximum, and hopefully you get your electricity card number by then. But our agent was not responding. He was stalling. He wasn't responding. We didn't know what to do in that situation.
And I remember, like, in that time where we had the 10 yuan electricity, we used it very sparingly, like we were cavemen. We didn't put any lights on. We didn't put any electricity on, because you only got 10 yuan electricity in your account for the electricity to run.
Yes.
And we went to the local store, Miniso, and we bought like these heating pads. We bought hot water bottles, like we old aunties.
You want to see the heating pads?
And you still got it?
Yes.
Because I know you bought a whole bunch and you never really used half of it.